Majora's Mask is a game I think needs no introduction. Released on April 27th, year 2000, it is highly regarded as one of the best Zelda games of all time. Known for its classic N64 look, its use of the mask mechanic, and its really dark theme with its 3-day cycle and the moon, it has become a cult classic in the community. While also being one of the biggest names and games in the franchise, it is also probably one of the most recognizable in the franchise, known obviously for the Majora's Mask and the very, very freaky moon. Now, the core mechanic of Majora's Mask is the 3-day cycle. In-game, you are told that every 72 hours or 3 days, the world will reset back to the first day. This is because in the game, Skull Kid comes into possession of the Majora's Mask after stealing it from the Happy Mask salesman, and causes the moon, after throwing it out of orbit, to go on a crash course to Clocktown and the rest of Termina, where this game is set. Now here's where Terraria comes into play. On Tmod Loader, while I was just scrolling minding my own business, I came across a mod that adds the 3-day cycle and the moon crash into Terraria, and I thought it would be a cool idea to try that out just from a playthrough and see what would happen and how it would affect the gameplay loop of Terraria. So without further ado, here's me trying to play Terraria with the 3-day cycle from Majora's Mask. So I load up the game, create a character as one does, go to the world creator, try and think of something funny for the name, kind of fail, create the world, and immediately start getting to work because the dawn of the first day is already on us and I need to go fast. I chop down a couple trees, kill a slime to make some torches, and immediately go left to see what kind of loot I can find there. After swiftly dying to a vulture who decided he wanted all my business, I go back to my death and find a chest. This chest doesn't have much other than a spear and a couple potions, but that's more than enough to get me started and kill this vulture so I can go and explore even more. I go left some more, and after looting 2 living wood trees, I find the jungle, which I decide I'm not going to tackle right now because that is way too dangerous. I decide to go right after respawning and immediately find the much safer ice biome, which I decide I will be looting instead of the goddamn jungle. But just before that, I decide to go a little bit further right and find the corruption and decide I'm not going to do that anymore, so I go down, grab an aquatic chest, and go right back to the ice. I dig a little hole out to start mining and immediately take what I think might be one of my stupidest deaths in my entire Terraria career. I tried to jump away from the bomb, but I guess my spacebar didn't work and I just exploded with it. After that embarrassment, I mine down a bit more, find my first chest and my first heart crystal. I also spot another heart crystal right after that, so that's a big dub. I mine it, consume it, and then go down to this little boreal house that's just been sitting there staring at me and I didn't notice it until now, and I get my first pair of flurry boots. I then proceed to take another death because the boomerang is very unreliable sometimes. After getting set back to the surface, I decide to go right back to the ice biome and get the notification that the night of the first day is upon me. I decided to spend this night actually farming snow zombies because the snow armor is pretty decent for early game and it saves me some time getting all that lead armor and those other metals for armor, but I come up pretty empty-handed. All I got was a zombie arm and 3 snow hoods. After that travesty of a looting session, I go back to my mine and get informed that dawn of day 2 is upon me. After settling into my mine, I find another boreal wood house and get probably my favorite item from the ice biome, the snow cannon. I think it's a really good early game weapon, especially just for rangers and other things, and I immediately grab it and make it my main weapon. I also find another heart crystal right above it. I do some more exploring and find another life crystal. You'll notice that throughout this video I get a lot of lucky life crystals. Actually, my luck on this world is pretty good, all things considered. I go back up and start making some housing so I can get the merchant to move in. I walk over to the merchant and buy a piggy bank, and actually I just buy a piggy bank. I take to the skies with some gravitation potions and look for sky islands, because sky islands tend to have really good loot for early game. I also want to mention here, I did accidentally cut one of the sky islands I found out of my footage. I don't know how that happened, but it's gone. I got a lucky horseshoe out of it. You'll see it later, because I do eventually look at the right side of the world. Anyways, I got a shiny red balloon and a very bad Star Fury. I start making an arena for the Eye of Cthulhu fight that I'm going to try and take on the 3rd night. I then return to the jungle to try and get some of that sweet jungle loot now that I am more prepared, and instead I get jumped by 3 eyes. I loot a chest and find an aglet, great item to find. I pop a Splunker potion to try and find some decent ores and maybe some more chests. But while I'm digging into this rich mahogany tree, the dawn of the final day begins. Anyways, this living mahogany tree has a pair of flower roots, which are completely useless to me. But on the bright side, I again find 2 life crystals in very close proximity to each other. After getting those life crystals, I mine down a bit more and find a jungle shrine with a fiberglass fishing pole. And then right below it, I find another 2 jungle shrines. The first one carrying a very, very bad boomstick, and the second one carrying a decent pair of feral claws. While trying to get this life crystal, I have a little bit of a scare with the amount of enemies and I almost die. But after some masterful dodging and a health potion, I'm able to get away from all the snatchers and hornets. And I suppose because I made it out of that, I'm rewarded with another jungle shrine right below that heart crystal, so I go grab the jungle shrine first. After yoinking the heart crystal, I decide to go home and start preparing for the night for the Eye Cthulhu. But right before that, I take right back to the sky to see if I can find another sky island. This is also when you can see the island I find the horseshoe at, just to make sure that, you know, I'm not cheating. I soon find a sky lake, but that's about it. I came up pretty dry. After using another gravitation potion, I go to the left and find nothing in the ocean. I remember that I have chests and stuff in those chests, so I loot my chests just to make sure that all the important stuff I want is on my body, so when the world resets, I don't lose it all. This is where you'll also see those tremors on my screen from the moon crashing. At this point, it's just waiting for night to hit so I can start the boss fight, so I just wait. As night arrives and the darkness encroaches, it becomes time to fight the Eye of Cthulhu. Yeah, so it wasn't really much of a fight. So, with the day almost coming to an end, I have to play the Ocarina Song of Time and reset to the very first day. It's unfortunate that I couldn't beat the Eye. I didn't have much in the way of horizontal movement, so I couldn't really dodge out of his dashes very well, and eventually I just perished. But thus ends my first 3 days in the Majora's Mask cycle, and once I reset, I decide that's it for now. I might come back to it depending on the reception of this video, but honestly, I think this is a really good mod. I think it's really cool that they added this into the game so well as well. And honestly, I wouldn't be too annoyed playing it again, so leave your thoughts in the comments, and thank you for watching.